Hello, in today's video I will show you how to make a rocket controller for our game. How it will work. When we press on the screen, our rocket is ejected. That's what we created in a previous episode, but in today's episode, when we eject our rocket, now if I press on the screen, I hold the screen, my rocket is my engine is adding thrust to our rocket, the fuel on the top of the screen is burned here, as you can see here, and I can move to the left and to the right to avoid obstacles we are going to add in the later episodes. So let's start our work. What we need to do first is to be able to see how our rocket is flying. We'll need to attach a script to our camera to follow our rocket. But before we start, I want just to fix one more thing, because when we eject our rocket on our platform, last time in our launch platform script, we've created here you probably have the value static, and here please fix it to be kinematic. We want to do it because this platform, when it's static, the rigid body will not allow us to freeze its rotation on the constraints, and sometimes the platform might rotate or flip. So to fix that, just go to kinematic and freeze rotation on Z position. That will fix the issue. Okay, so when we have that, let's create a quick C# script for our camera to be able to follow our rocket. Let's write camera controller, and yeah, let's create empty, rename it to camera, let's reset its position, and yeah, let's move our camera under our main camera under camera container, and let's also take the background under also our camera here. Let's attach the script to camera, and let's write some code to follow our rocket. So what we just need, it's very simple script. We'll work on our camera more in later episodes, but for now what we need is to be able to see how our rocket is flying. So so we have reference for our player position, and we want also some offset on our camera. This offset will be, because as you can see here, our camera is not in the middle of our player, our rocket. So usually it will be here in the middle, but we don't want to do that. We want to be able, what we see before us, so we can dodge that, like rocks and etc., like objects we have in our game and other obstacles. So so that's the offset for the camera. So that's that position on Y. Okay. Okay. So as you can see here, that distance will be something like -2 here. Okay. So we have camera offset. Now let's write script to follow player. And what the script will do, it will take just vector 3. Let's name it desired camera pose, something like that. will be new vector, oh sorry, not vector 3, vector 2. Let's change to vector 2. Be new vector 2 0, because we don't want it to be moved on X. And what we will have here, it will be player position that position dot y plus camera offset y. Okay, and transform that position. It's transfer of our object that the script is attached to, so it's our camera container. So it will be equal to our desired camera pose. Okay, and that's all for our camera to follow our rocket. So what we need to do is just move our rocket here, so our script will know what object it needs to follow. So if we press play now, we should be able to change the offset, and it's not working because we forget to call our follow player script. Now it will follow our rocket. Okay, now if we press play, yeah, our camera was transferred, and now we need to set offset. Like, yeah, as we said, like something like 2 or 2.5. Make it 2.5. So if we now eject our rocket, as you can see, our camera follows our rocket. So yeah, our rocket is falling down. Perfect. Yeah, background is moving. On later episode, we'll create background that will be moving when we fly the rocket. Okay, so now let's create our rocket controller script. Rocket controller. Okay, let's attach it to rocket. Okay, where is? Yeah, it's here. Okay, let's double click. And what we want to do here, it's a little bit more complicated now, because we want it to work the way that when we press the screen, the fuel is burned, the rocket is moved, need to do like strafe when it's just moved to the right or to the left, and we'll add force to move faster forward, or add velocity. So we'll add velocity by adding force to our rocket. It will work as our engine. So what we need, the values, what we'll need here. Let's start from, as usually, we need to create image. Okay, I haven't added. Similar as we created power bar, we need to create our fuel bar script to burn our fuel. So yeah, we'll create it soon. So let's create value for our max fuel. As a public float, and by default let's make it 10. We can change it from Unity Inspector, so don't worry about that. Let's make fuel consumption speed. Let's make it by default 0.1 f. Let's create public float trust value. It will be force value, that is, maybe let's make it trust force. This is value that will be added to add velocity to our rocket. So let's write 10 by default. Let's write we need value for our strafe speed. So this will be strafe speed will be value for our rocket to move left or right. So let's make it by default like 5. Let's make private value current fuel. We will need touch position. We need variable to store our touch position on the screen. So let's write this one and let's make 2D. Let's make reference for our rigid body to be able to add force. Okay. So on the start, what we want to do is set up our current fuel to our max fuel. Okay, and to create reference for our rigid body, so let's write rigid body 2D is equal to get component, and it will find a component of the type rigid body 2D attached to our game component and that our script is connected to. So in our fixed update, okay, maybe let's write functions. It will be easier to understand. So what function we need? First, we need to add some thrust to our rocket to be able to fly forward. So to do that, we will just need to write public void. It will be new function add thrust force, and in that function we want to be able only to add thrust to our rocket or force our rocket to fly forward when we have fuel. So our fuel value need to be larger than 0. So let's write if current fuel is more than 0, then what we want to do is create vector 2 as vector, our thrust force vector. It will be equal to new vector 2 0, because we don't want to add any force on 0 on the x direction, and second value will be our thrust force. And that what we want to do is just call rigid body 2D add force, and we want to add thrust for force equal to our thrust force. Thrust force vector, sorry. And when we add force, we will also want to burn some fuel. So I burn or consume fuel, and that function we need to create now. That's right, let's take this name, right, consume fuel function, and yeah, when we consume fuel, we just want to write current fuel is minus equal, so that means that it's okay. I will write fuel consumption speed. Okay, and what this means minus equal, it's the same as you would write current fuel fuel is equal to current fuel minus fuel it's this one is just short name for that function, for that sentence. So I usually use minus equal or plus equal because it's just make me code faster. Okay, and what we want to do when it comes to fuel, we want to yeah, update our fuel bar. So float fill is the same function we've used for our power bar. So what we need to do is just current fuel divided by max fuel. So that will be fill of our mask on our power bar, and fuel bar mask dot fill amount will be equal to our fill. Okay, so now we can add thrust. We are consuming fuel when we are adding thrust to our rocket, but what's left, it's to be able to move to the left and to the right. So now let's write public void strafe, or you can name the function as you want, but I like this name. And what we need to do is to create vector2 that will tell us what direction we are moving. So it will be new vector new vector 2, and this is important. We don't okay, let's forget. Okay, let's write. We are not using force to move to the left or right because when we are adding force, it works incremental. So this if we use like transform position here, it will be it's giving better feel of the game. It's making game more arcade. So let's write code. Thanks. Why? Okay, and our touch pose X will probably take 0 here. But let's write it. Okay, so if our fuel is more than 0, I want to make something like when we have more fuel than 0, our strafe will be like working with normal speed, but when we consume all the fuel, so we'll be able to move left or right with like half or with the 30% of our regular strafe speed. So if we have more fuel, if we don't have empty tank, let's write that position is equal to vector2 that move towards So how it works? We move from the current position to a new position with certain speed. So we are moving from transfer position. This is our current position of our body, of our rocket, to strafe vector. The strafe vector with value of strafe speed, if we've declared here, and multiplied by time dot fix delta time. Okay, and when we have empty tank, so let's copy this, let's change this, and let's divide strafe speed by 3. Or can write it to be easier to read like that. Okay, so now we can fly forward. At first, to fly forward, we are consuming fuel when we are adding thrust to our rocket, and we can move from the left to the right. So what's left is the right function that will read our input on our touch pad. So let's write that function. First, what we need to check is if any touch on the screen was made. So let's write if input that touch count is more than 0. That means that Unity knows, not Unity, our game or script will know that we've pressed screen. That's how you detect a touch on your screen. So at least one touch was made to the screen. And let's write value that we can store our touch. Touch is equal to input get touch on position 0. So we'll get touch from our table of the touches on the position 0. Okay, and to be able, because we will have that face, touch face, and here we will have different touch phases like began, ended, moved, stationary. We'll probably use most of them, so let's write switch condition to be able to call each one of those states. So I will show you how to write switch condition. First, let's write switch. It's simple. Switch, and because we are storing our touch, so let's write touch dot face. And let's open parentheses, and here we'll have our instruction. So this is why it's called switch case instruction. Now if we have case, it will work as if statement. So it's the same. If I would write if touch face was equal to began, but that face, so touch face that began, oh sorry, I have some big, yeah, okay, 1 second, began, and to finish the instruction we write break. So if we write case touch face began, this is when screen is initially pressed. You have other case like case face moved. So this means when we move our finger on our screen, do the instruction below. So we'll add instructions in a few moments. If we like case touch face stationary, this means we are pressing the screen in one position and not moving our finger. So let's try. Here is mistake. Break and case touch face. Okay, so we have like all the cases we use. So here, this is when we initially press the screen. It will be like first press on the screen, then we will like keep our touch on the screen, then we want to add force to our rocket, and if we will take our finger from the screen, the touch phase will be ended, so this one will be called. And if we will hold our finger if we will have our finger placed to the screen and we start moving on the screen, this one will not be called, but that function will be called. So anyway, we'll have to call those two, work with those two. Okay, so what we want to do when our touch phase has begun? We want to read the position of our touch. So touch touch pause. This is that value we created before, vector 2, touch pause. Touch pause will be equal to our camera dot main dot screen to word screen to word points. Where is screen to? Yeah, this is that one. Screen to word point, and it will be touch dot position. Okay. So now this touch position value will be used in our strafe vector here. Yeah, this is our touch position, and here I don't remember if I explained that. This is transform position y of our rocket. So writing it like that, we are not influencing transform of our position of our rocket in the y direction. So because the y direction is that one, and we don't want to add, we are adding, we are controlling movement in y direction by adding the force in the add thrust force function. So what we want to influence is only transform in this direction, which is giving us that arcade feeling. Okay. I hope it's clear. If not, please write question in the comment and I will explain it once again. Okay, so when the touch phase began, we are taking our touch position. If our touch phase is stationary, we want to move to add thrust force to our rocket, because that way, this is how we will tell our game that we want to add thrust to our rocket, and because we might press the screen or the position we want our rocket to be moved to, we want also to strafe to the correct position. Here, when we have moved our finger, we want to strafe also to the correct position, because that's why we're moving, but we are holding our screen, so we are also adding thrust force to our rocket. And I think here we will also need to update our touch position. Okay, so that's how our rocket will be flying. So what's left? We just need to quickly create a fuel bar for our rocket, and then we are ready to test our script. So let's go to our canvas. Here we'll have our node power indicator. In the top panel we have fuel bar, so let's press Ctrl D. Let's add it here. Ctrl D once again. This one add below. Let's rename this one to mask. This rename to fill. And this rename to fuel bar container. Let's add mask to this component. And this need to be changed, the image type to be filled, and let's change it to the horizontal. Yeah, let's check. Here on the fuel bar container, change the color to something gray. Or maybe let's choose this one. To something gray. And now, if you will see here, it should work fine. Yeah, this is how it works. It will be looking when we burn fuel. Okay, so where is our rocket? Here. So this rocket script, what is missing is our mask component. So this is the mask component here. Okay, so let's press Ctrl Save. Let's test it. So now we'll eject our rocket. I don't like that offset. Yeah, why offset is it? Because we have changed it in the play mode. Okay, let's press Ctrl Save. Press play. Yeah. Okay, so let's eject our rocket. Now we're adding force, and as you can see here, I can strafe left or right. Now it's moving very slow because the strafe movement is divided by 3. So our rocket is flying upwards, and because we have gravity factor working on our rocket, it's dropping down. But we could do something different, like if you would like, but it depends on you. For now I will leave it like that, but you could make like linear drag and change the mass to be close to 0. Then with the linear drag that rocket will be slowing down and it will not fall so quick. Okay, so let's make more fuel for the test. Rocket and the fuel, yeah, let's make it 100. Let's press play. Let's eject our rocket, and as you can see here, if I'm pressing, I'm still flying and fuel is consumed. And as you can see here, I can move left, right, and that's how we want our rocket to be working. So that's all in today's video. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please don't forget to press the like button and to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.